And sometimes, I look at it like I was pissed. I was so pissed. A lot of times we get mad because things don't work out in our favor or how we expected them to work out. But sometimes that monkey wrench that Most High is throwing in your path is to steer you away from what you've been doing, what you're comfortable with, to something that's uncomfortable, but it's what you are called to do.
Hello, everyone. My name is Walt, and I'm the host of BossLocks, a show where we are redefining professionalism, elevating Black voices, and proving that natural hair and professionalism do coexist. Now, we do this by speaking to Black leaders, CEOs, professionals, and just some really dope people who are making an impact. And our whole goal is really just to dive into their Black experience in the workplace, really truly learn what it was like for them working while Black, as well as learning about their personal and natural hair journey. Now, for those who do not know, I'm speaking to Angie SKYHH, who is an incredible person. But, Angie, I'm just really excited to have you on today and just really learn about everything you have going on, what you've been through, and all of that. So, one, thank you for coming on today. How are you doing?
I am wonderful. Thank you for inviting me to be on your show. This is super awesome.
Oh, of course. Yes. And what's really cool about right now, we're still early on. And so when I start to have people on, they're usually the first. And we've had a Loctician on, but you were the first salon owner that we've spoken to. And for those who don't know, this isn't just any regular salon. I really like your about and everything. I saw that you guys are a company that truly believes that locks and natural hair can be healthy and fashionable. And you specifically say it should be healthy and fashionable and exist in schools, corporate America, and small businesses. And Absolutely. That's what we're all about, man. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So my salon is in downtown Atlanta. Mm-hmm. I'm in the Old Fourth Ward area. I've been in this location for 7 going on 8 years now. So I actually own the building. So
what?
The process was super difficult.
Yeah. That is well, okay. Quick round of applause for that. That's what's up. That's really cool. That's really cool. And that actually, so I'm gonna count that as one. But one way I always like to start the show off is by asking what are the 3 things that most people don't know about you? And that one right there, that's why I didn't know. I knew you owned the salon, but own the building itself, that is really huge. So I want to dive into that. But I'm just wondering, are there 2 other things that people don't usually know about you?
Don't know about me. I love to dance.
Oh, yeah.
And I am a vegetarian / pescatarian.
Okay, word.
So I eat seafood on the weekend, but all during the week I'm vegetarian. So.
Oh, yeah. I like how you space it out. Okay, Saturday, Sunday, this is me. Seafood. That's what's up. That's what's up. So that's really cool. So owning a salon, man, what does that feel like to actually own the salon in the building itself?
It was a huge accomplishment. I literally got discouraged a couple of times going through the process because they literally checked every penny of my income, and it took me 4 months to close. So wow. It was very tedious, and I literally had conversations with some of my friends, and after the fact, they were like, oh yeah, buying property as a business owner, it's tedious. And I'm like, well, you could have let a sister know.
Right.
What I needed, So, but I think it's dope. It gives me, so I have a whole private space for my clients. So they're not walking past other stylists. So it's not like a salon suite of any sort. They literally come into the salon and they sit down and we get started and go from there. So I love the fact that it's just me. in the space. So being COVID friendly, I sanitize before and after each client, and each client gets a new robe that they put on and new linens. So I don't use the same linens on people. You know, they're all getting washed per person, whatnot. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's what's
So that
up.
was one of the changes that I had to make during, I won't say changes that I had to make, but normally when you're in a salon, most of the time the capes, you're using them, you know, several times before you wash it. You know, you might
Mm-hmm.
not wash it for a week or so. But
Right.
you have the towel around to keep it from touching the skin of a client. But what I just decided to do is I just bought more robes and I cleanse them on a daily basis. So everybody
Nice.
getting fresh, clean linens.
Okay, well, that's what's up. That's what's up. See,
Yeah.
now you have a whole like almost like a luxurious experience. Like, oh yes, this is freshly washed for
Hmm.
you.
Absolutely.
That's what's
Absolutely.
up. Do you have cucumber water for them?
No, I don't, but I do have wine.
You don't? Oh, well, even better. I actually never had cucumber water. I just always like that's what I think of with luxury. But wine, I think that might be more pleasing to everybody.
I do offer wine. I am actually getting a subscription with a Black owned wine company so
Oh,
that I can
really?
offer new experience of wine tasting while they're getting their locks done. Hey.
By a black-owned salon and building, drinking black-owned wine. That's what's up.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
black everything. That's really
All
cool.
Black everything.
That's really cool. So interesting. So it sounds like, I mean, it sounds like the technical size of pivoting for COVID seemed like a pretty kind of easy shift. You just kind of buy more and just make sure the experience is nice and clean for everyone. But how has that experience been going from, just operating as usual to pandemic time? And now it's like no one knows what's going on at all. And if people are coming in, they might just come in like, are you sure? Like, what has this whole year been like for you?
Stressful.
Yeah.
Very stressful. So I had to analyze my competition and
Mm.
see what were they doing and how can I stand out above what my competition is doing. And so, you have a lot of people that focus on how the hairstyle looks, but a lot of them don't focus on the hair, the health of the hair. I've seen, I won't say a lot of them, but some of them don't focus on the health of the hair. So they're not using quality products, and they're not spacing the time periods between clients far enough so that now they're like what they call stacking clients. I don't
Mhm.
do that. So what I do is when clients book an appointment, their time is their time. So they have one-on-one private appointment with just me in a salon space where they can either watch TV, listen to music, go to sleep, um, whatever it is that they want. If they want to read a book or work, I have free Wi-Fi. So I do have some clients that take like conference calls, Zoom calls while they're in the chair. And they have the environment to do so, so it's not loud and you don't hear a lot of background noise. So I just try to provide an experience that is different than what a typical salon experience is going to be.
That's pretty cool. So you've actually had people like on a Zoom call while getting their hair done with like the camera on?
Some of them have the camera off because they're getting their hair done.
Right.
So, but when they have to turn on the camera, then I just kind of step to the side.
Okay. You could always make an appearance like, yo, stop by Scott Salon. We here. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, man. So, that's interesting. Well, one, congratulations on being able to, continue doing what you do during these times. I think 2020 is kind of filled with a lot of different wins and losses. So it's always great to hear when people are still able to continue doing what they love. So definitely want to congratulate you on that.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah. And I'm wondering, so what have you learned, I guess, from this period of time? Because I always like to look at losses more so as lessons,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like you can kind of learn from everything. So I think, and it might have been actually just changing the way you do interact with customers, but I'd like to really hear about what I guess like mental shifts you might have had to make in regards to the preparation and everything, and just really kind of dig deep. Like what have you learned from everything this
Well,
year?
me personally, I believe in inner work,
Mm,
and that's period for everybody. Everybody needs to do some inner work. So during this whole COVID shutdown, I remember taking my last client. I think it was March 14th was the last day that I took a client. So at first I was like, "Be vacation, hell, staycation," but
right.
so that first week I was like, all right, yes, I'm able to catch up on rest, kind of lounged around the house, was chilling. And
Hmm.
then second week I was like, I don't have any clients. Like, what's my next move? Like, I literally started thinking, I need to have a second stream of income.
Mm.
If I can't do hair, what is my second stream of income? And COVID, and I'm being real honest right now, like, but COVID allowed me to realize that you have to diversify. You have to have multiple streams of income because if one shuts down, you got to have something else coming in. So this COVID pandemic shutdown allowed me to dig within self to figure out what is it that I would want to do that I have a passion for that I can offer to, either my clients or just people online or people, period. And I even hired a counselor or a
Mm.
therapist to help me figure that out because I was lost. Like, I was like, I don't know what to do, and it was a very, very uncomfortable feeling. It was very disturbing. I felt lost. And I was just like, what have I done with my life? Because all this time I've been working, and I haven't had the time to sit down and put things together um, in order to bring in a second stream of income. Um, so now I had that time to kind of sit down and figure out what it is that I need. And I realized I need a team. Like, I need help. Like, I've been doing locks for about 13 years. And I've been locked for about 12 years. So, I've been doing this for so long that it's like second nature to me. Like, I don't even have to think about it. So
Mhm.
I was just like, wow, like, okay, well, I didn't have the time to sit down and say, really put things together, align myself with certain people, to do these other things that I had written down. But I just didn't have the time to put into making those things happen. So during the COVID pandemic crisis or whatever, it allowed me time to dig deep into myself and figure out what do I need to do on my end to get my mind right uh,
Mhm.
so that I can be better than my best at any given moment, which will allow me to give and be what I need to be for others that need my help or those that are seeking to work with me.
Right. That's really cool. What a transition. What a journey.
Man,
Man.
it was definitely a journey.
Wow. So, and that's really interesting. The kind of understanding that you may need some help because I feel like so you mentioned you've been doing this for 13 years. Throughout that whole period, have you been doing this solo? Wow. Wow.
Solo.
Yeah. Wow. That's well. Congratulations once again. That's pretty awesome. 13 years straight. What? Man. So, do you feel ready to actually start having other people join you?
I think I do. I am. I will say I think because um, I know what I'm looking for. Like the people that I'm looking for, people that are open-minded, that are willing to learn, and have a zest and a zeal for healthy hair. So like the projects that I written down and have in place, I need, like I said, I realized I needed a team and I couldn't do it by myself. So I have things that are unfinished and undone because, again, I'm just one person. I don't have all the tools and necessary abilities and capabilities to do all of those different tasks. And so bringing someone else on would definitely ease the stress that I have of trying to run so many different things all at once. But also with them coming aboard, I would teach them what I've learned over the years. Cause I'm like, what I see in Black business society is people hoard information. Like there's information out there in bits and pieces, but they don't really share it. And I get it. The game is to be sold, not told. But then there are some people out there that they really want it. Like they're hungry for it, but they may not necessarily have the finances to purchase, because everybody has a course. Everybody has some type of book or something, and you spend money until a point where it's like, okay, well, I'm spent all this money and I still don't know what I'm doing,
Right.
So sometimes you just need that mentor that'll help say, hey, let me just walk you through this. Sometimes people need that helping hand to show you do this, you do this, you do that. A lot of people nowadays are more like, here's the information. You do what you do with it. If you succeed, great. If not, oh, well, not my problem. They're hands off, So I feel like sometimes you have people that are hungry for it, but they need that hands-on approach that walk me through this process and they'll get it. And then they take off.
Yeah. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I like to, I kind of grew up in different learning environments, but all of them were hands-on. And for me, I know that's always been the best way for me to learn. And you're right, there are plenty of courses out there. Really, like all the information you need is on the internet.
Yeah.
But there's something different between reading or watching a video versus that one-on-one just connection with someone and really just having someone lead you or guide you through the whole process.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you mentioned something before about kind of like everyone has a course and kind of with the Black businesses and just not wanting to just share all the information and everything. And I always wondered this as well, but do you see like a lot of competition between different hair-based businesses?
In the hair industry, there's definitely a lot of competition, but also there is I can do it myself mentality. So if one person comes out with a hair twisting gel, somebody else comes out with a hair twisting gel, and somebody else and somebody else. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like sometimes, we as a society, the reason why Black people, period, we don't prosper is because we don't fully support one thing. Until we fully support one thing, we can't grow. We got to get behind something and be like, okay, this is what we're going to use. We're going to use this product, and everybody's buying that product. And then you have like maybe somebody who makes combs, and then we're all getting our combs from that person, or so forth and so on. Like now we can all prosper. And then once we're all getting our thing, now you can branch off and do your own thing. I feel like, and there's, like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. I look at the example of the bread aisle during a pandemic or during a crisis. There's all these different kinds of bread, on the shelf at any given time. But during the pandemic, that whole bread aisle is clear, gone.
Right.
So you do need, competition in the industry as well. But at the same token, I feel like if we could all get on one accord, and especially in the lock community, everybody has their own way of doing things, and that's fine. But it causes, I can't think of the word, like distension. I forget what it is. Where clients don't know who to trust because we don't have a foundation. We're not spewing the basics. Like there should be a basic set of information that is standard all the way around. And now when clients keep getting the same information, they're like, oh, okay, well, that's got to be the gospel. That's got to be the Bible, so I don't see that, especially in the lock community. There's so much information, and I find a lot of time, especially doing consultations, and when I get new clients that have gone to stylists that are in it for the money, I have to break down so many barriers. There's all of these, but I thought if you do this, if you do that, you can't do this and you can't do that. I'm like, where are you getting this information from? And a lot of it is coming from, some is coming from stylists. Some are coming from these YouTube influencers, who are not licensed. I have a whole license through the state of Georgia that I update every, 2-3 years? They have to update it to stay, you have to take classes to stay licensed. So I'm a fully licensed master cosmetologist. And so a lot of the information doesn't come from a background of understanding of hair, the science of hair. Is just, that's basic knowledge, but a lot of people don't have that. I won't say a lot of people. Some people don't have that. And the information they put out, it makes it, I won't necessarily say that it makes it hard, but I find I have to.
You have to kind of like make people unlearn the.
And say, listen, I know you've heard this and you've seen this on YouTube, or you heard this from this particular person, and yes, they may have way more followers than I do, and that's fine. But I know hair. I know hair backwards and forward. Like I'll ask them, I'm like, next time you go to, if you don't come back to me and you go to another stylist, ask them to break down hair. Tell them, ask them to tell you what are the 3 different layers of hair. If they can't answer that question, they don't need to be in your head. Period.
Interesting. Okay. So you already let me know that I don't necessarily know the standards of hair, especially when it comes to like walking into the salon and meeting with someone. So I really liked everything you were saying, because I feel like there is a lot of, especially with Instagram, it's almost like with followers and likes equal facts. That's how people think of it, but it's not really the case, because people repeat to the point where they don't know if they're repeating truth or just something else that someone happened to say. That's like the downsides of the internet and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's like those memes that people make, and it'll say this person, died at age 52 for whatever reason. Then you're like, oh no, that was fake.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, and then you posted this on your page, like, man, so-and-so died. Like, yeah, no, that was fake.
Right.
Now
you just on vacation.
Oops, my bad. So you have to do your research. Like I tell my clients, consultation is not just for me to explain the locking process. It's also a time for this client to get a feel for my personality, get a feel for the stylist personality, get a feel for their salon environment. Do you feel comfortable? are you comfortable with being in this environment for an extended period of time? Because most of the time, getting locks done, depending upon what style you're getting, you're going to spend anywhere from an hour and a half up to 8+ hours, depending upon, again, what you're getting. So are you comfortable in that environment? Do you even mesh with that stylist? Do your personalities clash, or do they work together? How knowledgeable is that stylist? How clean is their environment? So there's a lot of things that I feel like, the consultation gives the time, and it's like I said, it's like an interview. I'm interviewing you as a client, and you should be interviewing me as a stylist. Mm-hmm. That's a job. We're both applying for a job. I'm applying to do your hair, and you're applying to be my client. So I look at it from that perspective. And I think when people look at things from a perspective of business, then it becomes a lot easier to figure out which way you want to go with it.
Interesting. So what would you say is one question that you wish that people would ask you without you prompting it?
That's a good question. I would say, how long have I been doing hair? Simple question, but not a lot of people ask that. Really? A lot of clients will just hop in a chair and get their hair done and start their lock journey. And for me, I am a energy person. I believe in, the energy you receive from the outside world, like from music, entertainment, whatever it is, reading, whatever it is you take in, that information is going to be spread to those people that are around you. So I'm very cognizant of the music I listen to, the movies I watch, the articles I read, the books I read, things of that nature, so that when I have a client in my chair, I can give them nothing but good, positive energy. And so a lot of times people, they will just sit down in somebody's chair and let them do their hair. And I'm like, locks is such an intimate thing. I'm having to take this time to create your foundation. Your foundation. Are you building a house, or are you building a skyscraper? What you building? I build skyscrapers. So
Architect Angie.
Right.
Okay. I like that. I like that a lot. That actually reminds me of so in episode 9, I believe it was, we had Thando Cafele. He's kind of sharing some of the same things. Is really that relationship. He's a Loctician out in New York.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with Thando.
Oh yeah, Oh yeah, okay.
Yes, absolutely. That's like the mentor.
Oh really? Okay.
Yes.
I'll have to let you know I spoke. Yeah, you love that word. But yeah, man, he's kind of saying some similar things about how it's really a relationship. People really just don't even think about it. They just like pop in, let me get a style. But I think you and him are kind of speaking some of the same languages. It's like it's more than just retwisting or doing a style. It's really getting into the health of hair and making sure the relationship between loctician and client is there and appropriate and good for both of y'all.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is a long time to spend with each other doing hair. Like
absolutely. Like I said, I've been in the industry for 13 years, and I literally have clients that have been with me that entire time. And so it's just amazing to see like their growth. I got some clients hair down to their butt, some clients, they keep the hair trim mid-back and whatnot, but it's literally a relationship. I've helped some of my clients improve their credit score. Free information, stuff that I've learned over my journey. I just give it. Here's this. So you're not paying just for a style and maintenance. You're paying for my wisdom, my knowledge, the things that I've learned. I have had several clients to start businesses, and I've helped them along the journey of this is what you need to do in order to get a business started. I have one and they're actually not a client, they're a friend of mine, but they started a water line and used one of my friends. It was like a friend and a friend. They didn't know each other. I put them two together, and now they at NASCAR. They got a whole NASCAR car with the water company plastered all over the car. So I was like, wow. But it's just a matter of, I like to pour into people. I like seeing my clients grow and prosper. I've seen my clients get different jobs, get promoted. Like I said, start businesses, buy homes. I've given them, tips on how to buy a house, how to save money on rent. Right now you have a lot of people that are renting. So I'm like, listen, this is what you do. You rent this, and I drop knowledge, because I feel like, again, what I pour into my clients helps them to grow in their personal relationships, in their work relationships, in their relationship with self. And I really just love seeing my people grow. And when they leave, they come in with a heavy heart, but they walk out with just full of joy, full of light, full of good energy. And that's, to me, that's more than them paying me for getting their hair done. Like, I could care less about that. But to know that they feel relieved, and that they can go out and tackle the world like Goliath with the sword and be like, what? Bring it. I'm ready. So that's my joy when it comes to doing hair, is being able to plant seeds and watch those seeds grow into full trees or fruit bearing trees. Now they can eat for days and years later,
That's what's up. Helping clients grow trees. That's what's up. I'm about to book some time in your booth. Yeah. I got to go to you and got to go to Caffelli.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. So I want to go back just a little bit, because you mentioned something that really kind of shook me, like, oh, okay, interesting. You mentioned, like, most people don't even know about the 3 different layers of hair. Can you break that down for us?
Okay. So when it comes to hair, you have 3 layers. You have the outermost layer, the inner layer, and the innermost layer. So the outer layer is the cortex. The cuticle layer. So that's the outermost layer. So like, if you were to take one strand of hair, not a lot, but sometimes you'll have like a loose hair that's sticking out. You probably can't really see, but you get one strand of hair and you run it up the hair strand opposite from the follicle. You should be able to you'll probably feel bumps and lumps and things of that nature on that strand of hair, which those are your cuticles. So if it's bumpy, that means your hair is dry, and it needs moisture. So the next layer is the cortex layer. So like people who get color, a hot oil treatment, or a deep conditioner where they sit under the dryer or under a steamer with the conditioner in their hair, that opens that cuticle layer up to the cortex layer, which allows the hair to receive that color, that oil, that penetration of moisture. Then you have the medulla. The medulla is the innermost layer, and that is the area where all of everything that comes into the hair goes into the medulla. So like with locks, because they are a thicker strand of hair, sometimes at the end of a lock, you'll get a pith. And the pith is those little balls. Sometimes it could be a little ball. Sometimes it can be as big as like maybe like that. And what that is the medulla acts as like the filtration system. So what it does, it takes all the stuff that the hair doesn't need, and it drops it down into that pith. So that's why I tell people you need to get trims, not every year, but every other year or so, with locks, because locks, you don't have split ends with locks, but you'll get those little piths. So sometimes you just need to go in and trim that off. It's just the stuff that your hair doesn't need. It's just like, I don't need that. I'll call it the boo-boo of the hair, that little pith. So you have the cuticle, the cortex, the medulla, and the pith.
Okay.
Pith is not really, the pith only is on locks. But for hair in itself, you get, like I said, you have the cortex, the cuticle, the cortex, and the medulla. That's
Hmm.
that.
I see what you mean by it's a science to hair. Okay.
It is a science of hair.
Wow. Wow, that's pretty cool. That's really interesting. See, I didn't know that. And some of the things I could see, some of the advice I've gotten with hair, but now I understand more so why. Like the trimming, for example. I always hear, yeah, trim your hair, keep it healthy. But just say that, I never really understood why. But yeah, go ahead and do it. But now that I know this, it's like, okay, yeah, let me make sure that I'm doing it when I need to do it.
Mhm.
Man, okay.
Like it's like, trimming the hair. And I make this correlation to my clients, and they look at me and just laugh. And I'm like, sometimes you just got to take a laxative. You got to get rid of the shit in your life, okay?
Facts,
So trimming
facts.
your locks is getting rid of the shit that your locks is like, listen, no, I don't want this. Get rid of it. It's weighing me
Hmm.
down. I can't be my vibrant self or whatever. So
Man.
I keep it pretty transparent with my clients, and they like, girl.
You were just telling me about the trim it, time for the laxative. Let's go.
Basically.
Hey, I wanted to take a quick break to share a new deal for y'all. So, if you're in ATL or know someone in the ATL area with locks, Angie Sky is offering a discount on her lock maintenance services. That's right, Angie, as in the boss with locks I'm interviewing right now. She wanted to extend her support. She's been a day one supporter since like literally day one, and she wanted to extend her love and support to everyone here in the Boss Locks village. So, if you're in the area or want to come down, go ahead and book a session with Angie Sky and enter code BossLocks20 in the notes when booking your session. All you have to do is go to styleseat.com/Angie Sky, that's Sky SKYHH, and choose lock maintenance with 2 strands / pipe set from the list of her services. And we'll have the link in the description, make it super easy. Description on the site, everywhere. If you're on our email list, you'll get it there too. So once again, enter the code in the notes section when you're booking your session, and she'll get you a discount when you check out. She, as you could hear, she knows what she's doing. So yeah, definitely let me know if you do book a session. I'll have a special note, a special message for you as well. So yeah, thank you all for listening, and now back to our show. Cool. So I'd like to kind of take us back 13 years to what year was that? 2003 or no, 2007?
Jesus.
Yeah, 2007, 13 years ago. That's the year you started
Mhm.
your professional journey as being a loctician. Do you remember like what led you to wanting to style hair?
Absolutely. I was working in corporate America, and I had applied for a position within the company and had found out that I didn't get the position. So I was pissed. And I was like, I'm tired of having to work for a company and them telling me when I can work, how much I can make, where I can work, and what I can do. And I said, I always had a passion for doing hair. I was kind of, playing in hair, during this time, but I was just, not really taking it serious. So I went to hair school. When I found out I didn't get position, first thing I did when I left work that day was drive right down the street to the hair school and say, sign me up. How much it costs? Oh, who? How much? Can I make payments? Cause who Jesus?
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I didn't care at that point. I was just tired. I was like, I want to do something different. I want to change my life. I don't know how this is going to help, but I'm throwing my panties to the wind and saying, hey, let's go. Let's get it.
Took that leap.
Took that leap.
Man.
And here I am.
Do you remember what the job was that you were applying for?
um, I was working for a company called Auto Trader. I'm sure you've heard of Auto Trader.
Yeah.
I was a trainer. And so I trained all of the new hires that would come in or that would come into the private seller department.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to leave the private seller department and move over to the dealer side, because the dealer side is where the bread and butter was for Auto Trader. And I was just like, well, dang, if I get on the dealer side, they make more money, their job's a little bit easier. So it'll be cool. Like, yeah, it didn't work out. Didn't work out, and sometimes, I look at it like I was pissed. I was so pissed. A lot of times we get mad because things don't work out in our favor or how we expected them to work out. But sometimes that monkey wrench that Most High is throwing in your path is to steer you away from what you've been doing, what you're comfortable with, to something that's uncomfortable, but it's what you are called to do. It's when you experience it, you're like, Lord, what did I do to get here? You're questioning, like, what? Why me? And then you're like, all right, you ask what it is you need to do, and then he lays upon your heart what it is that you need to do, and you're like, all right, do you say this? What you said? I'm finna go over here and do this now. I hope this works. This better work now, God. Get this together. I don't know what I'm gonna do if it don't work, but
Man, yo, that's really real though. That's real. So, do you think that the job that you were applying for in like the dealer division, do you think that it was something you felt comfortable doing?
I did. I felt like I could definitely handle it. I had been mentoring with one of the people that worked in that department months prior to that position even becoming available. And so I thought I was a shoo-in for it. But find out that my supervisor, my manager, whoever he was, blackballed me. He said because I was a pivotal person that they needed me in their department and they couldn't afford to let me go. And then like maybe a month later, if that, decided that they weren't going to hire any more new hires. So my position was eliminated. So I was just like, you knew this was going to happen. And you said, you don't want me. Okay, I see how we playing the game. I got to play chess, not checkers. Okay, I was playing checkers.
Mm-hmm. Man.
So yeah.
That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah. That's crazy. Like when you experience something like that, it's just like, but I can train somebody else to do what I do. Like I trained all of these new hires. Right. All my new hires were getting rave reviews via the quality assurance department. Their scores was through the roof. Everybody that came through my class ended up getting like, high reviews, and their scores were high, and their numbers were better than the people who came in through other folks. And so I'm like, I get it. I know what I'm doing. I can train somebody else to do what I do.
Right.
So why are you stifling me? Why won't you let me grow? But again, working in corporate America wasn't my thing. And I didn't realize that at the time. I was mad. I was upset. Like, man, why? I just want to get ahead. That's it. I just want to get ahead. Why I can't get a break?
Mm-hmm. Man. Well, what a blessing in disguise. Because who would have known? Because I'm sure you had before that moment, you probably had thoughts of going deeper into styling hair and taking care of hair professionally, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I had thoughts about it years prior to me even getting that job with Auto Trader. And so, I was like, I don't really know. I wasn't really sure. But then, over the course, I think it was like 3 years. No, it was over the course of 5 years, I had been laid off 3 times. And I was
Okay.
like, I can't do this no more. I don't want to be at the beck and call of somebody else. Like, I need to earn my own money because this is not it. So, yeah.
Facts, yeah. Or my dad, he shared like, and I guess getting laid off is kind of a normal thing. It's one time I came home and he's like, yeah, I just got laid off. And I was like, oh, and he looked at me like, why are you looking like that? And it's just like, cause he's worked a lot of different contract roles. So he's like learned to like, shift with if that happens. Like, all right, cool. And I just got to do this and get at it. But man, yeah, it's interesting because like jobs we kind of look at as security. Like get a good job with the benefits, you're good. You're safe. You got coming in. But a layoff could come.
That's not it. That's not it. These jobs they don't keep people. Like I remember working I don't remember what company it was, but I literally would watch people either get fired I think it was like at a 8-year period where, they would celebrate their 8 years. And it was weird. It was like 8 years. Like you could at least let them go to 10, but it's like literally at the 8-year mark, they were like, fine, they would start a case. And next thing you know, they not here no more. And somebody else is moving into that position. And either they were paying them less than what they were paying that person previous. 9 times out of 10, that's probably what it is. So I even had a situation like that. It was like a mortgage company I was working for. And we were like loan processors. We started out as loan processors. And then they switched our position to collection agent. Collect. That ain't what I do.
Right.
They literally changed everybody's position to a collection agent. And we had to collect upon these loans that we had issued. And then after probably about a year in, they let go of all the people that came in when they first opened or first bought the company. They let go all those people. I was one of those people. And then they had the nerve to put an ad in the paper for my same position, paying half of what I was getting paid. I was like, wow. Like my mom showed me the article. She was like, look, your job is in the newspaper. I'm like, what you mean my job in the newspaper? Like wow. They literally had an ad paying half of what all the original people were getting paid. And I was just like, I was like, you could at least say, hey, would you take a pay cut? Because we already had the knowledge. Some people would have taken a pay cut, maybe not half, but some people would have accepted a pay cut. But it's a dog world. Business it's about business. It ain't personal, as they say.
Yeah. So it's interesting. So with that in mind, another thing I like to ask everybody who comes on is like, what does professionalism mean to you?
Professionalism, what it means to me is I am a business, I am a brand. I look at my business and my brand like a Coke or we'll talk about cars since Tesla is doing their thing. You got Tesla, you got Toyota, you have Nissan, Chevy, so you have all of these different brands. And I think about when I think about professionalism is what does your brand say to your clients or potential clients or customers? What image are you putting out that states that I am a professional? And a lot of times what I see with some other pages is people mix business and personal. And so what I try to explain to some people is you have to think of yourself as a brand in order to garner that respect as a professional. So you look at Tesla's Instagram page, you're not going to see, Elon Musk rolling up a joint, smoking a joint on his page. Nah, you're not going to see that on a Tesla page, maybe on his personal page. Yeah. But Tesla's page, you're not going to see that. You're not going to see him hanging out with his kids on the Tesla page like that. No, like that's, you got business, you got personal. So I think a lot of times people need to separate the personal from the business. In order to be professional, you have to come at it from a standpoint of, this is about business. This is about my brand. This is about my image. This is about the message that I want to portray to the world. So I need to do and act in a certain light and manner, because what you do is going to attract a certain type of clientele, or customer base. So if you're putting out certain images, then people are going to be like, oh, well, I only want to deal with that person. And then you get mad because it's like, well, I don't like these people because they're doing things that I'm not into. Well, look at what you're putting out. So, in order to be professional, you have to carry yourself like a brand, like a major brand, so compare yourself to, think of yourself like a Tesla, think of yourself like a Toyota, think of yourself like a Ford, and say, this is, and kind of model what those people are doing so that you can have that image where people are like, you know what, I don't mind giving you X amount of dollars to do my hair. Sometimes when people have these, social media pages, they're not professional. And when you see, just all of these other images that don't have anything to do with what it is that you're selling or promoting on your page, people are like, well, now people want to negotiate your price. But if it's all business, this is what I do. This ain't a hobby. This is 9 to 5 for people who understand working corporate America. 9 to 5, 10 to 6, whatever your shift may be. But this is what I do. I am this all day. Like, I'm not playing in it. I eat, sleep, drink, shit, this. So yeah, I think that's my version of what professionalism is. This is one of the things that I learned when I became an official business, because when I first started doing locks, I didn't have a license. I was traveling, so I had like a portable shampoo bowl and a chair that I kept in the car, and I would drive people's houses and do hair. And so I wasn't paying any taxes. I wasn't, I was so not legit. And then, I started meeting people that were for real business owners, and they started dropping knowledge on me and helping me to get my business a legitimate business. Now I'm registered with the state of Georgia. I have a business license. I have an EIN number. I have a Duns and Bradstreet number. So I'm like a legit business that also pays taxes. So learning that from them helped me to understand that there's a difference between hustling and business. Huge difference. Now, granted, a hustler can have a business mentality, but running a legit business and hustling, two separate things. Two totally different things. Had no idea. And it's scary. The business side is very scary. It's a lot of paperwork. It's a lot of tedious putting in hours of information in. And once you get everything set up, it kind of goes smooth. But that initial setup, it is traumatizing. And I can understand why people run illegitimate businesses, because they question a lot of your stuff. They all up in your personal business.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Interesting. Do you think you could have one without the other, seeing the two different things, like hustling and, like running a true business?
Yeah, I mean, you have it all the time. I think about like your drug dealer. He's a hustler. Like I would say not the kingpin, but the guy on the street selling the drugs. He just hustling. He's just trying to live for the day. He's trying to make it to tomorrow. Keep shoes on his feet, keep food in the house. Like he not thinking long term. Now that kingpin is running a business, even though it's illegitimate. He running a business because he got people working for him. It's a whole process to it. So you can't have one without the other. Like you have worker bees. Those worker bees, that's what they do. They work. So when I hear a lot of people say, oh, get a business, get a business, get a business. Everybody had a business. Who gonna work for who?
Right.
You need worker bees, and that is okay. It is okay to be, if that's your thing, if you're comfortable with being a worker bee, that is okay. We need you. Somebody needs you. May not be me, but you may need them. So you need worker bees. You need people that are great at management. So there's levels in a business and different segments of a business. And so, when you have a CEO, they have to know how to delegate tasks to the different people that are good at doing those tasks. So you can definitely have it separate, but it works better when it's run like a business.
I like the way you're explaining everything. I think this is really good for everyone to hear. It's 'cause there definitely is a difference. I like how you kind of put it, like hustling to make sure you have food on your feet today versus, building something that could last years from now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You look at the kingpin. He got the penthouse suite in the middle of the city, and he has another location out of the country somewhere. Whereas the guy selling drugs on the corner, he got a little 1-bedroom apartment, and he just trying to make sure, his old lady good and she can eat, and maybe he got a baby and, he's trying to make sure the baby got food and they good, so he's not looking long term. Like all he sees is, I want to be like whoever he's working for. And the person that he's working for, he got, a nice car and a nice house, and he don't even live in that community where they serve him. So when you look at it, from the perspective of drugs, and everybody knows about drugs. Like,
right.
I don't know about drugs. Just go back to sleep. I don't know. I mean, because there's been movies. Y'all watch Power?
Right.
Like, come on. Come on. Like,
right.
Yeah. I don't know.
It'd be hard not to figure out. Like, you really have to be trying to avoid it,
Right.
Yeah. So I want to take a kind of a quick transition to hear a little bit more about I guess first I want to hear a little bit more about like your perspective on certain natural hair products and everything, and then also just to dig a little into your natural hair journey. So for starters, natural hair products, like what is something that you would tell people to run away from? Like not necessarily a brand, unless you want to, blow the smoke, but like certain like ingredients that I think people should watch out for.
I'm an ingredient person. So I look at certain ingredients to see if I want to use this in my hair. What is this ingredient? So one of the ingredients that I would say steer clear from is beeswax all day. Beeswax is a no-go ever. So what I see a lot of times in the natural hair care aisle section is you'll see products that say no beeswax. But if you flip that product over on the other side and read the ingredients, there's another ingredient that they put in there that is also you should run the hell away from. Throw it down on the ground and be gone. It's petroleum.
Oh.
So it'll say no beeswax, but the first ingredient or the second ingredient will be petroleum. And we know what petroleum is. That's right. It.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how hard it is to get once you got Vaseline on your skin.
That's like the heavy duty lotion.
Okay. That's hey, I grew up on Vaseline. So
oh yeah.
You go outside, you all extra sticky and sweaty.
Oh yeah.
You getting grass stuck to your leg. You got all kind of dirt stuck to your leg. You getting in the bathtub, but baby, why your bath water so dirty? I was playing and, in the dirt and climbing trees, and I don't know.
What's that mean?
It wasn't me. I didn't do it. It's the Vaseline.
Right.
But yeah, petroleum, beeswax, mineral oil, olive oil. Olive oil is one that people like to think is a good oil. It's a good oil to cook with, but not for your hair. Reason being, olive oil has a shelf life. And that shelf life, I don't remember what the actual number is, but olive oil can go rank. So in the ingredients world, you have what they call rank, which means it goes bad. And what happens is it smells funny and becomes really tacky. So it turns into like a beeswax. It turns into a beeswax when used in the hair. So I'm not a fan of olive oil. I don't recommend olive oil to be used in the hair. Like, just no.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you also said mineral oil. That's one I would have assumed that, minerals. That sounds
mineral
like
oil, olive oil, beeswax, petroleum, they all in the same family. Mineral oil is the Spirit Airlines of oil. Analogies. This is what I do. I
right.
do
Angie Queen. Yeah. Okay.
It's the Taco Bell of Mexican restaurants. It's the McDonald's of burgers.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Yeah, definitely. Will not forget that. All right. So petroleum jelly, mineral oil, olive oil, and of course beeswax. Beeswax is an interesting one because like I think so I started my lock journey in 2007, and basically the recommendation was use beeswax at start. Heard that everywhere, and I feel a lot of people starting to see your eyes widening up. But but that was I hear a lot of people were giving that advice to start using beeswax, and I feel like everyone has that moment where they realize beeswax build up and just all this other gunk and just stay sticky forever. Mm-hmm. It's horrible. That's and one thing in particular I always tell people whatever you do, just do not use beeswax.
Don't do it.
Keep that in the honey. That's it.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
And anybody that's co-signs products that avidly use any of those ingredients, I would question their character.
And then drive down to
Atlanta. For the money? Or you in it because you love what you do? You have a passion for making people's hair healthy. There's a difference. Huge.
I just envision you on this platform with a congregation of Locticians around you, just at the podium, just speaking to everyone. What are you here for?
I don't. It's funny because I'm so I just love what I do, and I just want people to have healthy hair. So I've had people to come in and be like, well, I want my style to look exactly like this. And I'm like, first of all, I'm an artist. So that would be plagiarizing. Second of all, I'm going to do the style that is going to fit you. Now we'll get it as close to that as possible, but understand that sometimes you may not have enough hair or you may have too much hair, but me and my expertise and my knowledge in my field, I should be able to dictate, all right, this style won't work for you because da-da-da-da-da. And I can give you a good explanation why. Sometimes what I see is people come in, they'll get a style and they're like, Well, I don't really like it. Yeah, because it's not for your hair, like, you know. So I just I pour into my clients and I take what I do seriously. Um, but with a laughing heart, because I laugh a lot and I make jokes and whatnot. But I don't, people see me, put me on this platform, and I'm like, I'm just me though. Like, who am I? I do what I love. And there's a difference when you have a love and a passion for something versus you're doing this just to make money, because you can see the love in the work. It is very apparent in the work and in what that person does.
I just want money in the bank. Have no time for them. We just pray and say amen. Been here, boys, since way back when. I just want money in the bank.
Now that is a wrap. Thank you so much for tuning in to the BossLocks podcast, where we redefine professionalism, elevate Black voices, and prove that natural hair and professionalism do coexist. Now, if you enjoyed today's show and want to get to know our guest a little bit more, check out the links in the description. You'll go to our website. You'll see all the different places where you can connect with our guest. And while you're there, go ahead and check out the rest of your site. If you're a first-time listener, this is the best place to learn more about BossLocks and everything that we've got going on. And also in the description will be a link on how to support our show. That's right. I know you've been asking for a while about the best ways to support our show, and I've dropped a few things here and there, but I finally put together a little something on our site with all the different ways that you can support us by joining the BossLocks Village, which is our Patreon page, joining the Working While Black group, and just continuing to spread the message. Matter of fact, if you want to know the best way to support our show, is by telling a friend to tell a friend. I mean, it's these are shows with a lot of gems and advice that I truly feel will help people pursue growth, whether you're a Black professional or not. This is information that's basically free game, and I think the more people who hear it, the more people who will be able to help really support the change that we need today and in the future. So, once again, thank you for listening, and I'll see you next Tuesday for our next episode.
Grab the bro, cause I don't even see them. Shout the family, cause I need them. Yeah, I need them. If I pull up in the German, I want the best version. Tryna kill bills like Uma Thurman. Money in the bank, money in the bank. I just want money in the bank, money in the bank. I just want money in the bank, money in the bank. I just want money in the bank. I just want